Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have a window card idea that I want to share with you. Now, this is not just your ordinary window card. It is a window card within a card. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have actually two different card ideas that I want to share with you that feature this window card within a card concept. So this is the card that I am going to walk you through today. And it's just super simple to create. Now, I also have an additional card idea. So you can use this window card idea and create it in either landscape style, or you can create it in portrait style. Now, the cards in this video feature the Irresistible Blooms bundle from Stampin' Up. So this is a brand new bundle that just launched today in the online store. So it is part of Stampin' Up's online exclusives, which means you won't find it in any catalog. You will only find it in the online exclusive section of the Stampin' Up store. So I have linked to that in the description below this video. Now, besides the adorable stamp set, there is also a coordinating die that goes with this set. And this is the die that I will be using today to create the window on our card. So besides the bundle, which is in the online exclusive section of the store, you can also find the designer series paper. And this paper is just absolutely gorgeous. And it has it kind of looks like it's embossed, but it's not embossed. But it just has some beautiful patterns on it. And of course, they're front and back, so you can use whichever patterns you like in your card making. Now, one of my favorite things about the pattern paper and about this particular bundle is that there are two different dies in the bundle, which actually cut out the little floral designs that are in the designer series paper. So those are the designs that I will be using to create the card that I'm going to share with you today. All right, so let's get started and I'll show you how to make this beautiful card. All right, so let's focus on how to make this card in landscape style. So we're going to start out with a standard card base. So it's just your regular standard card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5. It's scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches, and that will create the base of the card. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up my card, and I'm going to take this die, this circular die here, and I'm going to lay it kind of off on the right-hand side of my card front. And I'm going to run this through the embossing machine and cut out that window in the front of my card. Okay, so here is what we have for our design. So you can see it makes this beautiful little window in the front of our card. So it's right through the front of the card. So I'm just going to set this aside for the moment, and we're going to talk about how to create the section for the inside of this card. So you're going to cut a piece of white cardstock, which measures 8 by 5 1/4 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 4 inches. So basically when this is closed, this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. So this is going to be the insert that goes inside of our card here. So it's going to go right on the inside, and it's perfectly matted so that it fits on the inside of our card. So that's what creates the card within a card. Okay, so once you have this piece cut and scored, then we can go ahead and decorate it. So I cut a piece of the Hello Irresistible Designer Series paper. So the piece is 5 1/4 inches by 4. And so this is going to fit perfectly over the top of the insert for our card. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. And I like to use liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of play when I'm trying to cover, like an entire card front. I can kind of move this around and scoot it up to the edges. So now we can take this piece and we can adhere it to the inside of our card. So this is actually going to show through that little window. So you have a really pretty little picture there in the window, but it's going to be on the inside of the card. Okay, so I just added some glue to the back of this piece. So this is our card within a card. And so I'm just going to adhere this right to the inside of the card. So this is what the inside looks like. And then this is the piece, the designer paper that I adhered. And then this is our window. So it's pretty simple to create. Okay, so now that we have our card pretty much put together here, we are ready to decorate it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just open this up and lay this flat down. I just want to stamp a little splatter image kind of off on the side here. So I'm going to be using some soft seafoam ink. And there's a really nice little splatter image that comes in this stamp set. And so I'm going to stamp that kind of towards the bottom here. And then I'm going to stamp it a little further up towards the top. So this just kind of adds to the design. So the next thing I did is I cut out a variety of different images from the designer paper. So you can cut out the leaves and you can cut out the little flowers. You can also stamp them if you want, but I really wanted to showcase the designer paper. So this is what the designer paper looks like, and there's a couple of leaf images in here that cut out the designer paper. So you have this image that you can cut out with the die, and then this one you can also cut out with the die. So you can cut all these little leaf images out with the dies in the set, and then you can use them in your card making, which is exactly what I'm going to do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just add the floral image, which I cut out from the designer paper. So I'm just using the yellow one, and I'm just going to kind of put it on an angle off to the side. And then I'm just going to add my little leaf images. So we'll tuck one in on the top, and I just have them popped up with dimensionals. So we'll just tuck that one in right about there. And then we'll tuck this one in on the bottom. So that's how I decorated the front of the card. And now I have a couple of other floral images that I'm going to use on the inside of the card. So the key for this is I wanted my image just to kind of show up through this little window, but I wanted it to be on, of course, the inside of the card. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to just pop this up as well. So basically what I want to do is I want this to kind of show through. So I think we'll go like right about here, and we'll add our flower. So that'll be on the inside. So I'm just going to add another flower. So this is like the petal pink color. So we'll just add that right here. And then I'm just going to tuck a couple more leaves in there. So again, you can stamp your leaves or you can cut them from the designer paper. So I'm just going to tuck this one in up here. And then I'm just going to tuck this one in down here. So then you have a beautiful design. When you open up your window card, you have this. You can see this. And this is what it looks like from the front. And then I also have a little hello greeting. Now you can just adhere it right to the front of the card, like I did with this one. I just adhered it right to the card front. Or you can take it and you can just kind of tuck it underneath that flower and just kind of run it off, you know, the side of the card. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tuck it right underneath that flower. And this is just a 3/4 inch wide piece of white cardstock. So we'll just add this right about here. And it's going to hang over a little bit, but that's okay because I have a scissors. And so I can just snip this off to make it flush with the side of the card. All right, so here's what we have so far. This is the front of our card. And then you open it up and here is the section with our little hello. And now we can go ahead and decorate the inside. So for the inside, I'm simply going to use some of the other florals from this set. And what I'm going to do is just glue them together. So I'm not going to pop these up simply because we have quite a few layers on the card already. So we can just adhere these flat down. So we'll add a bunch of glue and put that up here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves. We'll just add some glue and tuck these little leaves right underneath there. And we'll add this other leaf image up here on the top. And then you have a beautiful floral. So when they open up to the inside of the card, they'll see the floral on the top. And then I'm just going to use a leftover piece of designer paper, and we will put that right across the bottom here. So this is just a 3/4 inch wide by 5 1/4 inch piece of designer paper. So that's what our card looks like. And now we can add some of these new little gems. They're called loose frosted dots. And so I'm going to just kind of give you a tip on how to add these. I tend to use the Take Your Pick tool. So this tool has a little bit of putty on the end of it, so you can easily pick up these little gems. So let's grab, we'll do a large one. I think actually we'll put the large one up here. And then we'll grab a couple of small ones. So here's a smaller one. And then we'll grab the real tiny one. We'll put the tiny one up here. So what I typically do is I kind of lay them out where I want them, and then I add a little bit of glue, like a little dot. And then I take the tool and I pick up the dot and I lay it on the glue. So I'm going to pick up this other dot and lay it on the glue. And then you can kind of push it down and give it a second to dry. And then we'll do this other one down here. So just put a little dot of glue. You don't need much, just a little dot. And then place your gem on top. So I do like the little gems that already have the adhesive on them, but these are pretty easy to put on your card if you have this little Take Your Pick tool. All right, so here's what our card looks like. This is the front with our window. And when you open it up, you can see the inside here with these beautiful florals. And then you have even more florals on the inside and a great space to write a personalized message. All right, so besides creating this card in landscape style, you can also create it in portrait style. So it's basically the same concept. You know, you cut out the window the same as you would here. You create the same inside piece. The only difference is you're decorating it in the portrait style direction instead of landscape style. So this one I just did with some white cardstock for the front of the card, and I just decorated it a little bit different. I used a full piece of designer paper on the inside, didn't use any pop-up flowers there, and then I added some additional flowers on the inside and some leftover designer paper. So the concept for creating this in either landscape or portrait is exactly the same. The measurements are exactly the same. So you can really decorate it any way you want to. So which one is your favorite, the portrait or the landscape style? Leave me a comment below. Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different ways that you can use this window card within a card design idea in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.